Alrighty, you guys, so I just got out of the live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon, and let me tell y'all, I ain't gonna be training no dragons anytime soon because that looks terrifying in live action. But on a serious note, yes, I just got out of the film. It's highly anticipated by so many, so is it worth the hype, or is it not? Let's get into it. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and you're probably wondering, what am I doing in my vehicle? Well, I'm in my car because if you have been paying attention to the channel, we're currently undergoing some renovations. More on that very soon, maybe as soon as this weekend or early next week. But guys, a lot of cool things are happening at the channel, so get subscribed if you haven't already. Hit that like button and get loud in the comments down below as you're watching this review, and let me know, is it going to make you more excited for How to Train Your Dragon or not? Because if you're unfamiliar with this movie, you guys, the film itself, if you've seen the original, you probably have already seen the live action. Yes, it's virtually a one-for-one adaptation of the original animated movie, which I believe debuted in 2010. And the live action adaptation, thanks to Universal Pictures, I was able to see this early in IMAX at my local AMC. It's actually directed and written by the same director, one of the two co-directors of the original film, DeBlois. And the film, like I said, it's a one-to-one adaptation, you guys. This movie is not any different. There's maybe 2 or 3 minor changes that I could mentally take a note of. So does that make for a good movie, though? Because when I come into a live-action adaptation, I'm actually a fan of directors and writers who maybe take a more inspired turn and twist on what was the original source material. It's an adaptation, after all. Because if you see the same film, you got to ask yourself, I mean, was it really worth doing a live action? Should I just watch the original again? Well, I'm here to tell you and answer that question for you, hopefully. So, like we always do, guys, the film itself stars Gerard Butler as Stoick, Mason Thames as Hiccup himself, and Nico Parker as Astrid. And I do like Nico Parker a whole lot. I think she's a really good up-and-coming actress, and thankfully she has more personality in this one than, in my opinion, Astrid had in the original. But we're going to get into all that because it's time to get started with the positives. Now, usually I know we break down like a little summary of the movie, but by now, if you don't know what How to Train Your Dragon is all about, it's about a young boy. He's a Viking on the island of Berk. Yes, it's Berk. And his dad wants him to slay dragons, but he doesn't. And he definitely doesn't after he meets Toothless, a Night Fury. So the film itself, I'll start off with this positive, looks pretty good. I mean, visually speaking, there is a scale to this film that is pretty massive, and it only helps when you see it in IMAX. The VFX is also really good. You guys, the VFX in this film, it just, for me, sort of helps bring the movie together in some of its most sincere moments. And that's usually between Toothless and Hiccup. I think that the I should say the CG version of Toothless is unreal. It might be one of the best like dragons or creatures that we've seen as like the main character in a live action adaptation in a very long time. I know we've seen awesome designs like Sonic the Hedgehog in the past, but guys, for How to Train Your Dragon, it sort of just helps bring everything together. And what I love is that it's nice to still see the movie has the same core message as the original, because that message is very strong. You have 2 outcasts learning how to cohabitate and break the chain of humans versus dragons. You got Toothless, you got Hiccup, and they're both definitely the stars of the film. Now, the best moments of this movie, again, are between Hiccup and Toothless. I mean, no doubt in my mind that people are going to ooh and awe. There were a lot of children in my screening oohing and awing, and even some parents and adults getting sad, you know. And I think that this movie is going to elicit some emotional response. At times it did for me too. I mean, I did not laugh a lot. I laughed more in the original animated movie. This one, not so much. But the film itself definitely is going to make fans happy, but we're in the positives. I'm not getting into that yet. Okay, so let's move on to the next positive, which is, for me, Astrid was a character in the original that didn't have much personality. A little dry. But Nico Parker, does a good job at keeping this very firm character within a very, I don't know how to say it, I guess approachable personality. She has an approachable personality in this movie as the film goes on. In the original, there wasn't really much there. And I will say, even though Nico Parker at times, I don't know if it's the script that called for it, it was a little wooden, a little two-dimensional at times, but I will say, in the scene where, she is experiencing Toothless for the first time, it's pretty cool. And I think Nico Parker helps drive it home. She was awesome in The Last of Us Season 1. She's good here. I don't want to say she's great. I'm not going to lie. There's no really great performance in this movie for me. But there are some standouts, and I will say Mason Thames as Hiccup and Nico Parker are the standouts for me. Now, when it comes to the action on display, I thought all of the in-flight sequences looked really good. Bill Pope is the cinematographer here, and he's very well known. If you don't know him, how dare you? But Bill Pope does a good job at sort of capturing the essence and the scale of this film. Sometimes, when it was shot on location, I thought, that's actually pretty cool. They're doing a good job here. And other times, you could just tell it was green screen, but I thought that Bill Pope added a little bit of flair to this movie, which helped in times where the film sort of plateaus and gets a little dry, but more on that in a little bit. Outside of that, the final action spectacle in the third act with the Queen Dragon was pretty cool, actually. I thought, I was entertained for the most part. Was I over the moon? No. And did I absolutely love it? No, because I knew what to expect. Again, one-for-one shot adaptation, guys. Nothing surprised me in this movie. So, it was cool to see in live action. I thought they did a decent job with it. Now, when it comes to the music in this film, in the original animated film, John Powell was the composer, and he returns for this live action adaptation. And I will say, the theme is still hitting for me. I mean, it is awesome, especially when Toothless is flying for the first time. You get in your feels, guys. It's good. It's good. It's not great. I still think that there are elements to the score in the live action that just doesn't hit as much as the original, but it's fine. It still plays its part. Now, is it as recognizable? No, not so much, but I still thought it was okay. So that is basically where I'm at so far. There's nothing that is putting me over the moon in the positive section, but there are some elements to this movie that do help it feel enjoyable, especially as a fan of the first or the original film. So that's pretty much all I can honestly say I have for the positives. And when it comes to the negatives, you guys, in this film, nothing about this movie was bad, but there were a lot of elements in this film that were bland. I did not think that this movie had its own identity. And I think that's a really big issue in this movie, because it is again, shot for shot, beat for beat, with the exception of like 2 or 3 scenes, adaptation of the original. And it's not very inspired. And I think that is the thing that holds this movie back the most for me. It's a movie that plays it very safe. Lines are almost exactly as you remember them. And the problem with that is nothing new is put on the table for it to feel worth sitting down for almost 2 hours and watching the same movie that you did in 2010. So I think that also hurts the acting in this film. The actors are playing a character the same way as the original animated movie, and I don't love that at all. Gerard Butler is, of course, the voice of Stoick, Hiccup's father, and he's back here, but it doesn't do much for me. He's not doing anything. He's not delivering anything new, and that's a big issue for me. Nick Frost is playing Gobber, and Nick Frost is really talented, and I tend to like him, and he's got good comedic timing. Was really one note here. There was nothing in his performance that made me laugh, that made me sort of think, okay, he's adding his own touch to this. It was the same character as the original. And then you have the gang of newcomers, the new dragon slayers, Snotlout, Fish Legs, so on and so forth, that gang. I mean, I don't want to say that they're bad actors and actresses, right? it is just, for me, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. There are elements where I'm like, okay, this is honoring the original source material, and then it's honoring it too much. There's, again, nothing that is added to the film. It just feels like you've seen this before, and I don't love that so much, because I'm going to a live action adaptation for something that's a little new, and yeah, I didn't think that a lot of the jokes were too funny, so the humor was a big issue for me in this movie, where even children in our theater were not laughing as much, and that's been a problem lately with these live action adaptations of children's films. The children aren't always laughing as much in our screenings. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the general consensus, but I do think that is an issue. And then for me, there's also the issue of length a bit, because there are times where the movie gets a little dull. And that comes a lot for me in every act of the movie, not even just the first act, where it does take a little bit of time to get off the ground. Get it? It's a dragon pun for flying. But you do find yourself, at least I found myself, thinking, boy, we've hit a lull in this film. I know that's going to happen. I know that line, it's too predictable, and it hurts the movie for me. So I was hoping for, again, a little bit of something new here. Dean DeBlois, are you going to bring something new to the table? And he doesn't. He plays it safe. Will it make money? Yes. But is it going to satiate the fans who want something a little bit different? We've grown up with this movie a bit, so maybe it would be cool to get something fresh, but unfortunately it's not working in this movie's favor. So with all that being said, my final thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon, the live action adaptation, if it were up to me, I think this is a movie that is fun to see on like a cheap Tuesday, or if you are a parent and you're blessed to have some beautiful kids, you gotta go out and you gotta show them this movie, because it could be something good for the next generation. But for me, as someone who likes the 2010 film a whole lot, and I remember it well enough, and I did rewatch it recently, it actually hurts that this movie's more of a one-for-one adaptation. You can play it safe and it not feeling fresh, and that's what happened here, unfortunately. So How to Train Your Dragon is not a movie that I thought was bad. It's not a movie I thought was very good. It's a movie I thought was fine. So I'm within like that 3.5 star out of 5 range. It's okay, I just was hoping to be blown away and see a little bit of a creative difference to keep things fresh. So the film, again, has some standout actors, at least some standout performances, I should say. It has some good visuals, I would say, good to great visuals. It's just the other parts of the film that are just too predictable for me. So How to Train Your Dragon is not a knockout this summer. It will be at the box office, in my opinion, but it's not a movie that I'm thinking is going to be a home run for many that wanted something fresh. And that's where I fall, where I'm thinking, all right, it didn't blow me away, and I wanted it to, because I love Toothless. Alrighty, y'all. Well, there you have it. That's my real review of How to Train Your Dragon, the 2025 live action adaptation. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree with me, if you like what you're hearing, because if you don't, I'm sorry. And if you haven't already, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for what I'm excited to show you, the renovations on the channel. It's happening, and I'm so excited to tell you all about it. Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening. Or the next training session. I mean, listen, if I have Toothless as my dragon, y'all, I'm flying to work every day. This Miami traffic is bad.